Welcome to In the Green Room. I'm Kinga.
And I'm Chet.
I'm Richard.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Angela.
And we are going to have a great show because I am very
special
excited.
Guests today, right?
Right?
Very
So
special
exciting.
guests.
So special. So you are Mike.
Di
I don't want to
Domenico.
butcher. I don't want to butcher your last name.
Di Domenico.
Di
Di
Domenico.
Domenico, yeah. it's
And
Domenico,
you are the economic director of Tempe.
Economic Development Director, City of Tempe.
Okay. And you guys are friends.
We are friends.
And you've been on our last show, but can you introduce yourself as
Yeah.
well?
I'm Angela Johnson. I'm the co-founder of Fabric Incubator, which is a nonprofit fashion incubator in downtown Tempe. And we use one of the City of Tempe's building to operate out of.
yeah.
And you helped collaborate this? And
Yeah, so it
Somehow.
was a collaboration between Angela's group, Fabric, and the City of Tempe to activate some underutilized city space right next door to City Hall and across the street from our office.
And what do you do as the director of all this development, economic development of
I
Tempe?
direct.
So who, the owners of the businesses or?
So the simplest way to describe what economic development departments for a city or a region do is they try and improve the quality of business, the opportunities to attract new business for existing businesses to expand and thrive, and to create an environment that's pro-business, and that leads to an improved quality of life for everyone who lives in the city. Because we all know that a very large percentage of the expenses that a city needs to cover are paid for by taxes, and businesses contribute significantly to our tax base.
Sure.
So how long have you been in this position and do you love it?
I'll start with the I love it. It's
Cheers. He loves it. 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 He loves it.
Love what
He
you
loves
do.
it.
It's a great
Love what you do.
responsibility,
Yes.
that's for certain.
well, I have a great team. It's a great city to do it in. It's
Oh, we love Tempe.
It's almost too easy because everyone wants to be in Tempe. It's so
Mhm.
centrally located. So we don't have to work that hard to attract people or get people to look at us. We just have to work hard to help them once they make the decision.
Mhm.
I've only been doing it since last September, so
Oh.
coming up
Congrats.
to 1 year.
Yay.
Yes.
Yeah, your anniversary.
Yay.
Yeah.
We'll celebrate that.
Thank you.
I think
Oh
it's
boy,
easier.
here we go.
Cheers.
And have you done something similar,
Cheers,
Mike,
cheers.
in other cities? Have you had a background in that?
No, so I came out of the private sector. So I worked in the brokerage and development world in commercial real estate.
Mhm.
And
Here in Arizona.
In Arizona.
Okay.
Yeah, I grew up in the Scottsdale area.
Oh,
I got to meet his
Native.
best friend from high school.
Yes, yeah, we just happened to run into each other a few weeks back, and I was that evening meeting an old friend from high school, Saguaro High School. in
And they still
Scottsdale.
get together once a month and
Yeah,
have
we still get together.
a dinner, which is so nice.
And we tell each other the same old stories. And they get better every time we tell them. Yeah.
And wasn't he an athlete?
He was. He
Mhm.
was quite a college, high school football player, and played college ball. But he also was a weightlifter, power lifter, and still holds several state records. And then just retired from an illustrious career with the fire department.
Love it. I love it. Well, one of these times I'm going to have both of you on because a sustainable friendship that lasts forever to me is everything.
There we
Brings
go.
joy to
That's
everyone.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful. So tell us more about your position.
So the position is a little bit different than the way we do things in Tempe than a lot of cities. Traditional economic developers who are trained, they come from the planning world, where they're land use specialists, or they're business development specialists. They're people that know how to reach out and attract business to the community and sell them on the idea of opening up their business in whether it's Mesa or Phoenix or Peoria, wherever it is. It's same in Tempe, but what we do a little bit more of in Tempe than most cities do is we act a little bit more like a development department. We're much more active in encouraging growth and density in Tempe. As a matter of fact, if you know, it's not a surprise. Most cities don't encourage housing development other than single-family homes. You don't see many cities
Really?
encouraging high-rise apartment development.
Unless you're a university city, that makes
That's a big part of it.
difference,
Or
right?
you're landlocked.
Yeah, or you're landlocked, and we're both. We're in the very center of Maricopa County. You know, you take a look at the map, and everybody wants to be near the airport. Well, you know, we can see the airport from our downtown. We definitely can hear it from our downtown.
Right.
And so geographically, we have all the freeways run through our city.
Yeah.
We have light rail. We have streetcar. We were the first early adopters of public transportation,
Which is so sustainable.
which
If
is sustainable.
When you can take that, it's huge for a city to be more green.
It's a you know, it's a trade-off. We all know.
It's so important for there to be strategy with that growth, because I'm sure you've heard about the whole Mirabella versus Shady Park thing. It's been like national news.
Yeah.
But I've actually performed at Shady Park before, and like
Deep chatty music.
a big fan of like the culture in Tempe, of like the live music and that whole area on Mill Avenue. Like it's like a famous district for that. So it's mind-boggling that they put an old folks like retirement home across the street from like such a vibrant community.
I agree.
So going forward, hopefully there's like a little bit more strategy about where they put stuff like that. That's obviously like a retirement home is not going to work well next to like the campus. That's going to be obvious, I would think.
It was a little surprising. So the city supported.
Mind-boggling.
The owner of that business is not single-handedly, but he is on the cutting edge of supporting live music in Tempe. And Scott's been doing it for years in downtown. And in addition to Shady Park, he's got other venues that he runs. The Mirabella project is done on ASU property. It doesn't really go through the city. The city of Tempe doesn't approve things like that. We don't even review
Oh,
them.
interesting. That was the ASU decision?
Yeah, that's an ASU property.
That's
that
wild.
That entire intersection. If you build on ASU land, you still need to build by code, up to code standards, but the actual use on the land is a decision made by ASU. So the decision to make, to build Mirabella was an ASU decision.
So how did they get approval to put a retirement home on their campus? That doesn't make sense either.
They just asked themselves, do we want to build one here? And they said, yes, we do. And
Well,
They
what's the
go
But how
final
did they
outcome?
even get like zonage for that usage on a campus? Like, it's so confusing. Like, an old folks home is not going to do well next to a bunch of young kids who are all
Well,
That's
trying
probably
to.
not a zoning
Why
issue,
not?
though.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
not.
know.
Why not?
you'd
Because
be
it's already been
surprised.
causing an issue. They're trying to close
No,
down
no,
the
it's been a
venues.
big
It's straight
issue.
out of Footloose.
Because they want them
It's
to turn
been
the music
national
down.
news of them trying to shut down these venues. Shady
Who's
Park,
they?
Mirabella, the old folks
Mirabella
home, the
is-
retirement home. Yeah.
Trying to shut down.
Mirabella's
The
been
venues in the
successful.
area.
I think that the issue is now behind everyone. They've
Well, Shady Park is
they've agreed and
still not
signed.
reopened yet. With
It
music.
isn't?
No,
Oh, okay.
no.
Yeah.
So
Is it gonna
there's not
reopen?
been a resolution yet.
It's
really.
going to reopen.
Yeah.
He just said it's going to reopen. Yay.
It'll reopen.
Cheers. It's going to reopen.
You just got inside information.
I know.
That's exciting.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you help make those kinds of decisions? Is that kind of what you do?
Yes, we do. We help when a business has a problem. They can come to our department, and we try and be that ombudsman within the city to try and broker solutions. The economic development department didn't need to help too much in this one. They Shady Park had almost universal support by the 7 members of the city council, the mayor and the 6 council members, who all stood behind the business and said, "Hey, this isn't right." They were here first.
Yay.
They're doing.
It's exciting
what they're
for Shady
allowed to
Park.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good.
Because the young community loves those venues. So like we were all scared that it was going to be like a pattern of like more retirement homes opening up in that area and them shutting down more venues. So
Yeah.
because
But it is still it's still, whether it's a retirement home or just student housing. Noise and how businesses coexist is still important.
definitely.
Good decisions need to be made for the good of everyone who shares the space. And when you build dense, like we do in downtown Tempe, you need to be respectful for the other uses that surround you. So it can't be all about one business. It's not all about the residents. It's not all about the retail. It's a little of everything.
But a college
Coexistence.
town,
That's
college
so
town
true.
needs to have
Yes.
Music and where they can, put the
100%.
music
But
on.
coexistence is the
least
key because all those
1 o'clock in the
businesses are going to
morning.
be there.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, downtown Phoenix, if you were someone who officed or spent time in downtown Phoenix, 15, 20 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
it was not a pleasant place to be.
No.
Come 6 o'clock, the offices would close down. You'd go right to your car and you'd get out of downtown because it wasn't a safe place to be. There were no restaurants and businesses open. If the ballpark didn't have a game or the Suns weren't playing, there was really no reason to be downtown. Then ASU opened up and they brought students and they started building residents.
Yep.
And that meant people were there at 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night looking for something to do. And before you know it, you've got Roosevelt Row and you've got fun, unique.
Well, Roosevelt Row really started before ASU moved to downtown. They kind of
But it's really picked up,
transformed
though.
that whole area. But
But
I
it's
was
booming
there
now
in the
because
old
of
days
ASU.
of Roosevelt Row, and this is very typical in urban environments for the arts community to move into an area that has been a bit sketchy, but rents are inexpensive. And they really kind of developed that whole arts area, because I used to go, and First Friday was a big part of that. We used to go down there. I had a Celtic band. We used to go down there and play,
I love it.
with
I used to do fashion shows
Yeah,
on
right.
Roosevelt and
Did you?
22 years ago in
Yeah.
dirt lots.
Oh yeah, right. It was
There's a lot of it.
really grassroots, just arts and music and fun and then of course as it developed and ASU moved in, it transformed it quite a bit. I mean, it's still going on, but it's not the way it used to be.
So I have a
Well,
question,
oh,
Mike.
wait,
So,
I had a really
hold
cool
on.
question.
As you are the director of development, how are you encouraging businesses to be more sustainable? Number one. Number two, is there a lot of recycling that's encouraged? Because I know you find out that some of these restaurants are not even, I'm not saying in Tempe,
Right.
I'm just saying I frequent a lot of restaurants and I'll ask them about their recycling program and they'll say some of them don't even do it.
Right.
So what are you
Most
doing
don't.
about that?
Well, so I've got a perfect person to introduce you to for a
Great.
future program.
Wonderful.
So unique. Tempe has, and they're side by side. The department shares an office with the Economic Development Department. We have an Office of Sustainability and Resilience. And the director who runs that program and his fantastic team, they run everything from cooling centers to try and minimize the impact on the homeless community, especially during the months like this.
So important.
They're
Oh my
doing,
goodness.
we have Care 7 that works on the mental health side and the safety net side of people who are out on the streets. But our sustainability and resilience group champions all kinds of initiatives in the city. The most recent is the city's just adopted a green building code. Scottsdale
Green building code.
has one, and they rolled it out slowly over the years. Tempe spent a lot of time designing and creating ours. And now when I'm working with a developer, when my team is working with a group to come in and do a project in Tempe, we're asking that they follow the green building code.
That's
and,
just
and
fantastic.
adopt it. And right now it's not mandatory. We're going through a pilot program, and I imagine in a year or two it'll probably move to a requirement for new development on if it's city-owned land.
Why is it not mandatory now?
Well, because this is about the worst time for construction pricing. Post-COVID, we're starting to see steel and cement prices go down. Labor is finally catching up with the demand. But right now is about the worst time to impose green building codes. More expensive to build. They say
Sure,
anywhere
I wonder-
from 20 to 40% more expensive, probably. It was a little much.
Well, initially, but in the long run,
Yeah.
it will save money
Yes,
for
and
the business.
and we wanted to give people used to the code, learn about the code, see what things they could do at the beginning, and then as it starts to become accepted by the developers. Now, for city-owned projects, when we take a piece of land that we own and we take it out to a request for proposal to build something, those are the cases where we're demanding and requiring green building code. But if just a developer off the street says, hey, I own this piece of land and I want to do this, and I'm allowed to by zoning to do this, they don't have to, it's just they're asked to. And if they need a little give and take, they want to build more density, more height, then in exchange for giving them that, the city may be able to say, okay, now we require. Now it's not optional, now it's a give and take.
So did Fabric, Angela Johnson with Fabric, has the business right there in Tempe. I think it's close to your office. Is yours very sustainable the way?
Oh my gosh, the building that we're in right now is very sustainable. It was actually redone recently, so they were able to put in, you know, all of the bells and whistles to make sure that it was sustainable. And I'm actually the chair of the Tempe Chamber Sustainability Committee, and so we're working right now trying to put together all of the resources for Tempe businesses online so that they have options of how to make, you know, their businesses more sustainable. So there's a sustainability summit coming up in September where we're going to feature a lot of that.
I'd like to go to that.
Yeah, you should definitely come.
We have to go. Are you going?
Yes.
Richard?
What?
The Tempe Chamber Sustainability Summit in September.
Let's go.
You're
Let's
there.
go. Jack,
The
let's go.
schedule's open, I'll be there.
But the building that we originally started in was not the same building. It's right across the street. It's kind of like behind the parking structure that's attached to our building, and it was the former Tempe Performing Arts Theater, and it had been built, you know, back in the late 70s or early 80s,
For
I think.
child's play.
Yeah, for child's play
Really?
and a few other, Stray Cat Theater is what it was. And, you know, back then they didn't think about these things. And so, you know, when we moved into this newer building, and that building's actually gonna go up for an RFP and become housing. It's gonna become affordable housing. And so I'm sure all of those regulations are gonna be in place to make that a sustainable building, which is very exciting. And now we've moved into a building that already is sustainable and much more efficient.
Can you dumb it down for somebody that's listening that doesn't know how a building would be sustainable?
Well, think about everything from the lights to the AC to, you know, just how you use the water and things like that. So obviously, you know, LED lights and, you know, making sure that everything is sealed correctly so that your environment stays cool. And then having all the lights be automated so that you don't have to worry about them, you know, being shut off at night if somebody forgets, and having, you know, all the AC be automatic and regulated.
What about the sinks?
Oops.
What about the sinks?
And yeah, and
For water?
And automated water, everything, all of those things. And then reclaiming the water and things like that are all stuff that I think are part of the initiative that you guys are trying to move forward.
We office across the street in what's called the Transportation Building, so it's right at the main light rail stop in downtown Tempe. It was the building designed and built for the city, that the city actually owns. We don't lease the building. And it was the first green building that the city ever built. And that building has got a little bit of retail on the first floor. It has a green roof, so if you go up on the roof of our building.
I've been hearing a lot about green roofs recently.
Yeah, so we've got, you know, a fully landscaped roof instead of just a barren surface.
Because that's so much better for the environment.
Yeah, recaptures rainwater, all desert landscaping. Everything's on timers inside the building. It uses, you know, rather than exposed ductwork to cool, they have cross ventilation across each of the 4 floors so that you get airflow. All the ductwork is underfloor, so it's plenum under our feet instead of hanging from the ceiling where it's exposed to temperature, and you're running cold air through hot ductwork, whereas here it's, you know, underfoot. Just different design, but unique.
And there's some other kind of roof that I've been reading about here. Was it a white roof that's reflective, so it doesn't absorb heat, that it reflects heat, something like that?
Do you mean a solar one?
No, just like actually painted white, some kind of covering that reflects heat.
We'll have to look that up.
Yeah.
So question, city, you know, you've got Chandler, you've got Paris Valley, you've got Phoenix, Tempe. How do you rate? Are the cities rated by who's more sustainable than another?
Well, so I'm going to talk. Yes, I'm sure there's different ratings. Tempe is known to be the most walkable and most sustainable and greenest city.
Yes.
And it's because of the amount of mass transit that serves our population. It's because we're dense, and it's not it doesn't, I don't know, come by logic for most people. But you've got two choices when you're building. You can either have urban sprawl, where everybody lives on a big half an acre to an acre lot, and single story ranch style construction, and you have to build freeways and deliver water and sewer and power out to everything in Queen Creek, just so that we can keep growing out and not up. Or you can build like Tempe does, and you can say, we're going to keep everything walkable. We're going to build a city that it's a 15 to 20 minute walk to get to everything you need, to get your hair done, your nails done, to get a massage, to go to your gym, to get your pet, to see your vet, to get your groceries, everything you need, 15-minute walk. And that's what we're trying to create in our downtown. They're not doing that in Scottsdale.
To the extent that even all of the city buildings have to have a shower so that you can shower after you've ridden your bike or walked to work. In fact, our building has a shower in it.
I love that.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
That is so cool.
That's for central part of Tempe. Of course, Tempe is, I don't know what the square mileage is, but it's a rather large
40 square miles.
Large city.
So our population right now is, MAG estimates that the last census was 85,000.
Oh, really?
But right now it's gone up a little since that last census. We think it's probably about 194,000 people. We're not, by 2050 we may add another 70,000 people, but we're not getting any bigger. We're not annexing land.
Right.
We're not,
so it's a good investment to buy in Tempe.
Yeah, and
can you help find me something?
And know you're gonna, and know we're gonna.
No, because that way when my kids are clubbing, when they're playing at the clubs, deep chatty music and safe word the DJ, I can just stay in my little place and walk to where they're playing.
Complain about the music from your loft. Turn that down.
I will hook you up with somebody who will help you do that.
Thank you.
Now, if you need office space or industrial space,
no, I just want a little condo.
Store, that our department can help you with. On the residential side, we'll bring you to an expert.
Right.
One question I have is, I went to Innings Fest this year, and it was so fun.
So much fun.
Such a great festival. Yeah.
That's fun.
But the only thing I was thinking is, why doesn't this happen here more? Like, that venue on Tempe Town Lake is so perfect for music festivals. I feel like it brings a lot of money to the area.
That's a great question.
And it's just so fun. It's like such a, collection of music and culture.
It's super sweet. He bought me a ticket. I think it was for my birthday. I don't know what it was for.
But yeah, there should be one of those in the fall
great.
too, because festivals just bring in a lot of people, and that brings in money to the area.
It's very smart, and that's a perfect area.
So Innings Festival started off, and Tim Sweetwood, who heads the company that puts it on, the city's been working with him.
Do you know him?
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
wow.
actually a Tempe guy. I think he was a Corona del Sol.
Let's get him on the show. I'd love to talk to him about.
He travels a lot. He's not based here, but
one of these days.
Yeah, but I can make that connection.
I want you to be with him.
So they're a fantastic group, but they do music festivals all around the country, and a lot of the big ones. They extended it. This was the first year, and it's a 5-year commitment to do 2 weekends in a row. Again, right at the beginning of spring training baseball, so they do innings and extra innings. They're trying to mix up the music a little bit. Innings Festival would be kind of one genre, and the other maybe has a little bit more country flair.
Such a great idea.
They do a fantastic job. We have Boots in the Park that has 2 festivals, one in the fall and one later in the spring, that are also at Tempe Town Lake. Our problem with Tempe Town Lake is we could book it 3 times every weekend. We have such demand for groups asking to use it, and sometimes it's the Rock and Roll Marathon. It could be the Ironman Triathlon. Lots of community groups. 4th of July Fireworks Festival. So we have such a demand, and it is a little bit of an imposition, because usually these festivals bring a little bit of crowding, road closure. some congestion.
A lot of congestion.
And they don't, it's a balance between what's good for the downtown merchants and downtown residents, as well as for the community. The festivals tend to bring a lot of people in from out of town, which is great. We like tourism.
Yeah, because
Hotels.
then they're spending money everywhere.
The hotels love tourism, the restaurants love tourism. We like people coming in, even if it's just from Phoenix or Flagstaff or Tucson. That's all great for the economy. But too much of a good thing can still be too much.
Can I tell you how
Sure.
you could cut back on that? In my opinion, I went. You took me to the Indians Festival. It was so much fun. I think we went one day, but I went 2 days to, I don't know what the other one.
Last year.
The year before with Martin and Cherry, and we had such a great time. But we noticed there were too many little kids and kids that were under 18 that were walking around. And I personally don't agree with, I don't
Well, it's
think
like a family festival. It's all about like baseball and stuff. So that's like not.
I don't know. You see all the parents, their kids are there and they're drinking and they're doing other stuff, and I just don't think it's appropriate for this young kids to watch.
Oh, come on!
everybody
Don't be a Karen.
No,
It's a
well,
music
that's what I think.
festival.
That's what I think.
Don't be a Karen.
I think
Come
little
on.
kids shouldn't be exposed to
You didn't.
Well,
drinking and smoking.
You
and
didn't
all
bring him to festivals.
No.
In his formative.
No, but you started taking me to
No.
concerts when I was young. Very
that. I mean,
young.
we never went to
Yeah,
music
no,
festivals.
I started seeing stuff at concerts at a
No,
young age.
You know what? That's
No.
interesting. Save that question for when we bring Tim and his
Okay.
team in
Okay.
here and ask him about that.
Okay.
Because I'm certain it's a dilemma that they probably wrestle with, and and you've got a capacity issue also. So
Well, in my opinion,
I think
I'm
it should
more
be 18 plus.
as a consumer. I'm more of a fan of festivals that are either 18 or 21 plus. But for that one, it makes sense because it's all about the baseball. Like there's like a whole like baseball diamond where the kids
I know,
play
but
and
you could
stuff.
smell
So
the
it's-
cannabis. It was a pungent
That's
odor.
a normal all ages
Okay.
festivals. Lollapalooza's all ages.
I
Coachella's
don't think
all
it's-
ages.
Okay, well, I don't think it's for little
Coachella's
kids.
all ages.
Yeah,
I'll be
yeah.
there.
Really?
Yeah, but yeah. So you just sound like a Karen right now. There's a lot
Okay,
of
so when
festivals
you
that are all
have
ages.
a little kid, are you going to bring your kid to something
No,
like
but
that?
that doesn't mean I should tell another parent that they can't.
Okay.
That's an interesting question. I'll ask him.
Yeah,
next
But
time I
okay.
talk about
my
it.
whole point though is that if another
See, he would
festival
do it.
offer comes in or something and you have any say in it, just remember that we love those festivals and
Yeah.
we
Yes.
hope that we can influence you to say yes to maybe one more in the fall or something. Then we want to be that.
Or maybe we'll
influence,
create
but-
our own festival.
I sit on a committee within the city right now who's trying to set parameters and guidelines and goals on what we want out of events. What are we trying to do with Tempe Town Lake, and what kind of events are the right thing? How many is too many? What kinds of events aren't we doing right now? There's a presentation by a group that wants to do kind of a jazz and wine festival.
That'd be very cool.
Oh, I'd love that.
You've seen some upper end jazz
I would love that.
and
Yeah.
wine, a
Yeah.
real grown up kind of an event.
Yeah.
Cheers to that.
That hopefully would not be
There you
all ages.
go.
Cheers.
There
Oh,
you
you
go.
don't have any more. Yeah.
But events like that we're talking about, and I think that one of the things that a lot of people don't realize about these events, Boots in the Park, Innings Fest, and Extra Innings, they put hundreds of thousands of dollars back into the economy for charity.
Mhm.
So
I
when
love it.
an outside
Love
group comes into the city of Tempe to do an event that has alcohol, and not every event has alcohol. There's the Aloha Festival, which is a huge festival, 20,000 people or so attracted.
There's no
to
alcohol
Tempe,
at the festival?
but it's all food, fun, games, very family friendly, but no alcohol.
Yeah.
But any event that has alcohol, Arizona Department of Liquor Licensing requires a special event permit, a
Right.
special event license.
Yep.
And when you pull that license, you have to partner, as the event promoter, you have to partner with a 501c3 or a local charity, and then
Like fabric?
a percentage and a percentage of the revenue raised from alcohol sales at the event goes directly back to that charity for them to put back into the community doing whatever their mission is.
Is fabric one of them?
That's incredible.
I don't know who all the
Well, we could be. So
That's
if
you.
if somebody
Okay.
wanted to pick us
Yeah.
as their charity, they could. In fact, Fabric actually has been fueled by event space rental. That's what our model is built on. In the original building that we started in, it's the former Tempe Performing Arts Theater, so it's a big event space, and we rent it out, and that is the income generator that allows us to do all the good that we do. And basically, when somebody wants to have alcohol at that space, they have to go through the permitting process, and then like you said, donate the money to a nonprofit, and sometimes it's us, which is great because
I love it. Donate to Fabric.
Yeah, it's a great way for us to continue to do all the good that we're doing.
Please take a couple minutes to tell people what you do.
Well, Fabric's a fashion incubator, and we're helping apparel entrepreneurs. So it is an economic development piece.
Quite unique, isn't it?
It is really unique. There isn't any kind of incubator like this in the rest of the country.
Yeah.
We're probably the biggest, most impactful fashion incubator.
Yeah.
And
why is it important for our environment?
Well,
why?
Everything that we do is really sustainable because fashion is so unsustainable. And right now, your opportunity to manufacture is overseas in a sweatshop. That's really the model that the fashion industry is built on. And so we're trying to create a circular model and prove that it's possible to manufacture sustainably, domestically, in smaller batches using technology to make it, a lot more special and enable apparel entrepreneurs. So it's promoting new business here in Tempe. We've attracted, there's factories that have started here in Arizona because of Fabric, and there's hundreds of brands that have started because of Fabric. And
I want to start a brand.
Well, come to
I am going to come to Fabric. I do.
So we're making a really big economic development impact and doing it in a sustainable way. So I think that's why I'm sitting in this podcast right now.
Well, people need to know that one of the biggest landfill problems are their wasteful clothes.
Yeah,
right?
Usually when you manufacture fabric or fashion, it's in hundreds of thousands of units, and most of that ends up in landfills or burned in incinerators. And fashion is one of the most polluting industries on the planet. So
well, not only is it sustainable in that aspect, but you're also helping people that are creative and want to find a way to chase their dream do that, which is so important.
Yeah.
Because you're spreading joy and
it's not directly
dreams.
sustainable for the environment, but helping people become entrepreneurs and chase their dreams. If even one or two people hit success and turn it into a big company with a bunch of employees, that's another local business. So that's actually very sustainable.
That's what I'm saying is it's a big economic development thing for the city of Tempe that is, driving a lot of business to help people start businesses there and then stay in Tempe. And then our ultimate, so that's our mission, is to help. It's a people-focused mission. We're helping apparel entrepreneurs, but it's a planet-focused vision because we're trying to prove that a circular model is possible and establish Tempe as the next fashion industry capital. And there's no reason why we can't do that. I mean, we're doing things so differently than anybody else is doing, even in LA and New York. And we have the opportunity to start from scratch and do it better instead of trying to turn a big ship that is stuck in its old ways, So that's the model. That's what we're doing. And I just want to say, the city of Tempe has been vital in what we're doing because when we first wanted to create this place, we went to a lot of different cities and kind of proposed the idea, and the city of Tempe was the one that said, we get it, and they were willing to actually partner with us on this and be able to provide us with a space to do it out of, because it's really hard to do what we're doing. There's no money in small batch manufacturing and providing free education to disadvantaged entrepreneurs, and it's something that we just do out of passion. And so the fact that we are able to use a building to be able to do it in is really the only way we've been able to do all of this. So we're so grateful to the city of Tempe. And I have to tell you, from the first day that we moved in, every single person I've ever encountered in that city has been amazing, from the person who is the janitor in the parking structure all the way up to the mayor and the economic development directors that we've dealt with.
Mike
have been
Di Domenico.
Really amazing
Did I say it right?
people.
Yes,
And that's the thing, is they're nice people. You know what I mean? They're it's not
when I
all
met Mike, he was all talking about your business and Fabric and how great you were, and he said she's got to be the first one on your show that I'm going to bring.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's exciting.
That's how we feel about the city. It's just amazing people.
That's very progressive.
Yeah.
We've got the most unique. Well, first of all, we've got the most diverse city council. people really care. It's the one council of all of them in town that all get along.
That's so important. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they're all
rare.
they're all rowing in the same direction. We're an innovative city. You know, one of the things that happened years and years ago was we built Tempe Town Lake, and it at the time was just this. You want to do what with the dry river bed that's full of homeless camps and drug use and bad stuff, and it was ideas that started at ASU. It was kind of a student project that was brought
that's
forward.
interesting. I was curious about the influence of ASU and the city and that relationship. But go ahead.
And a prior mayor, Harry Mitchell, and the council at the time said, you know what, and they took a lot of hits in the press. People didn't understand. But it's expensive, and they were trying to do something that, they're going to make a lake in the desert. Water is scarce. Everybody's
She's
worried
okay.
about
You don't need to keep on.
Yeah, really.
And so they did
Thank
it,
you.
and all these years later, it is the jewel of our downtown, and it's created.
It's beautiful.
It's created this demand for development, and brought the density necessary for us to do the unique things we're doing now. And it's all because 30 plus years ago, actually we're about to hit it's our 40th anniversary of the lake. But all of the
No,
that can't
I've
be.
lived here 30
25.
years, and it wasn't here when I moved
It's
here
20.
in
It's our
94.
25. I know this
yeah.
fall. This
Okay.
fall we're gonna
Well, that's
still a great
celebrate
time.
it. I think
Yeah.
it's the 25th. But 25 years ago, the council took a chance and did something really
Innovative.
innovative.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Visionary.
now my department and all the residents in the city get to enjoy the fruits of that gamble that they took.
So if somebody wants to come and work for you, where do they apply? Do they just go straight to you?
No, you go straight to our
I wanna work
HR
for you.
department. Straight to our HR department. And well, I think the first thing you should do is talk to people who already do, and they may kind of talk you out of it. But no, we've got an unbelievable team. We're very small. Our department is only 7 people and an occasional intern. But we're a very active city. At any one point in time, we probably have 3 or 4 active developments on city land that we're running. And almost all of them will have affordable housing as a component.
So I had one question. There are like a lot of rumors circulating that there's some type of a renovation happening to the old mill.
I was going to ask that.
Is that
Oh,
is
yeah.
that real? Like, there's all these rumors that it's
That's
being
been going
turned
on
into
for
like a
years,
big
yeah.
That's a
mall.
great
or,
question.
Yeah,
Well, it won't
is there
be a
any
big-
truth?
It won't be a big mall. There's actually there's a link on the city's website to its own web page that will constantly update you with any drawings. Right now, there's some kind of minimalistic massing plans that'll show you. There's going to be a little bit of retail built there. There'll be a hotel that'll be built there.
Really?
The only historic structure is the mill building itself, which is that kind of squatty, rectangular, four-story building.
The beauty.
It's got
My friend was saying, imagine a venue in there if they remodeled it. I was like, that's a good idea.
well, so that building will be reused. All the equipment will come out. Some will stay on site and be kind of education and art. The rest of it will probably go to the History Museum. The silos are not historic. Those have burned down and been rebuilt a few times.
Oh.
Most recently, I think probably in the, 60s or 70s maybe, but those are staying. The development team that's doing this is, it's 2 different groups. One group that specializes in adaptive reuse of historic properties. The other is Sunbelt Holdings, who John Graham, Heidi Kimball, and their team have done quite a bit of stuff in the East Valley. And this team, they're not gonna stuff the project full of density. It's going to be a very comfortable, approachable project, but it'll reuse what's there and then add some retail. Probably, they say they probably got 10 restaurants waiting to sign up right now.
That's so important because
Yeah.
I noticed that you need some more restaurants.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I don't want to be critical, but I'm a food snob,
Uh-huh.
and I'm fortunate to.
Mill Avenue has a bunch of good restaurants,
Well,
but it will be awesome for there to
Okay,
be more.
there is Bang Bang. I love the new place Bang
Right,
Bang,
you talked
and
about that. with
and
me.
Islam came on the show here, and my daughter works actually with Bang Bang.
Great group.
And so we want to see that place grow because their food is
Yeah.
delicious. How do we get them more exposure?
Well, first of all, you're
Bang, 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 bang.
Yeah,
chitty,
you're
chitty, bang,
singing
bang.
the tunes of our mayor is a big time foodie, and and one of our council members, Arlene Shin, just restaurant fanatics.
Okay.
And so we have one person on my team who's heading the charge of what we call downtown revitalization. So it's primarily restaurants, but it's retail of all type, all but service businesses that if you're a student or you live downtown, you need the hair salon and the place to do the nails and the dry cleaner and all the other things. And so we need to be mindful of that.
But restaurant-wise, like I love Bang Bang. What other great restaurants are there?
So
He's getting to that.
I could tell you a couple of them. We probably have about 10 that'll be announced between now and the end of November.
Cheers. Okay, there's some new ones.
Yeah,
Yay.
but the landlords and the restaurants themselves like to control the happy stuff like that and the timing of those releases. So we're sworn to see.
You can't talk about it yet.
Except that we can talk about a couple of them. There is the folks that do Wren and Wolf, which is a company.
I love
Ooh,
Wren
I
and
love
Wolf.
that spot.
So
I love Wren and Wolf.
the company is called Pretty Decent Concepts, and I'm watching the clock too.
How many minutes do we have left?
15.
Are they
Okay,
local?
thank you.
So Wren and Wolf is a local group,
Yeah, yeah.
fantastic operators. They are opening a concept. It will not be Wren and Wolf, but it's kind of similar. I've seen the interior drawings, even better looking than the Wren and Wolf downtown.
I love Wren and Wolf.
It's
is
going
great
in
news.
the old P.F. Chang space on the corner of Mill
Perfect.
University.
Yeah.
Yes.
In addition to that, like they have at the Wren and Wolf downtown, there will be a speakeasy that's adjacent to it.
Very
a
cool.
separate concept. And it's, I don't know if I can release the name on it.
Please.
But it is,
She begs.
the interior is drop dead gorgeous.
Ooh.
It is a really sexy interior. So that's one. They are also doing a fine dining Italian concept at the other end of the street at Rio Salado and Mill. And this is ground up construction right on Rio Salado, and it's going to be an Italian restaurant called Roman. And it's
You
kind
guys need a
On
great
east or
Italian.
west of Mill?
so where the
Roman.
parking garage is at Hayden Ferry Lakeside,
Uh-huh.
there's a little plot of land that you see right when you make the right and start going eastbound on Rio Salado. Right there up against the garage is an undeveloped piece of dirt. That's where it's going. You'll see right now this construction's already started.
So I'm curious about how many of these businesses are locally owned businesses, and do you encourage
Yes.
locally
That's a great
owned
question.
businesses?
Yeah,
in
that's-
Tempe?
So
Because I remember Mill Avenue used to be all locally owned businesses,
Uh-huh.
and now it's mostly, national franchises. And
Not
stuff.
mostly,
but-
there's still some.
A
there's
few,
some-
okay, so I'm just curious
Yeah.
about
we're
that
pushing for the local chef.
locally owned. Yeah.
I'm talking to the Mark Tarbells of the world. I've been
Sure.
begging him.
We
for
love Mark Tarbell.
Oh, Mark is a friend.
Yeah, he's a friend of mine too.
Yeah,
Yes.
longtime friend, and we took him down and
What about Sam
showed
Fox?
him
We
that-
love Sam Fox too.
Well, Sam Fox is
We love him.
this
He's
fall.
He's
He's
amazing.
opening 3 restaurants
Is he? With
Yeah.
you?
adjacent to Mill Avenue. So
Is
there's
it
a project
into
on.
Novus?
It's on Novus. So
Okay.
ASU's got.
Is it
It's so
Sam
exciting.
Fox or is it
You're
Cheesecake
only here-
Factory?
Oh.
Right now, in the green room,
Okay.
we're hearing about the new development
Only
in Tempe.
here.
Only here.
So I'll tell you, all 3 of them are they're trying to open them all together, which is really tough because it's all brand new construction with kind of a central park setting.
So many
This
moving
is-
parts. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is right near the football stadium, the basketball arena, but closer to Rural Road. They're opening a North, a Blanco's
Wow.
Taco,
Oh, yeah, north.
and
Wow.
and a Wildflower.
Okay, so now
So
that you're
all
telling me
3 of
this,
those things will
condo,
open.
we have to find one tomorrow. Because
Let him
you're gonna
finish
be-
talking. He's right in the
because
middle
I can't
of a
move to a
point.
place where there's no good food.
Let him finish
Okay,
it. He's right in the middle of a point.
I love her passion. I think I need to hire you.
See, right? I'm so excited.
Yeah. So there's great things coming, and there are, again, we're working with local restaurateurs to try and get them to bring concepts.
Wonderful.
Oh, it's Sam Fox calling you.
Yeah, it's like you weren't supposed to talk about that, Mike. That's my old friend Stan. He calls me a lot.
Because, you've got in Phoenix, you've got first, what's it called?
Crack me
First, that wonderful organization, First
First things first.
Local first.
Local
local
First,
first.
Local
Yeah.
First. which
Amazing.
is
We
so
love Local
effective.
First.
Yeah,
And,
Kimber is also a big
yeah,
partner and
Oh,
a
good.
confidant
Great, great.
and someone that we talk to.
Excellent.
She's helping us with the restaurant development.
Great. She's amazing.
Yeah.
What an influence she's had.
So
Wonderful.
when are these restaurants opening? Because I want to.
So the three Fox concept restaurants opening at Novus Place, they're being done by a group called Catalyst Development, and I meet with them every other week.
Can they hurry up? Kinga's hungry.
Yeah,
I am hungry.
And what I heard last week at our update meeting was they're shooting to open all of them before the end of November. Pretty sure that might have been October, but I think it's November.
Great.
But some of the buildings are a little bit further ahead than the others, and I thought they would operate them. He's giving you the 10 minutes on.
Thank you.
That they would open them one at a time to kind of keep the momentum going. But he said, no, we want to come in, big splash, promote them all.
Well, I might hide
wait,
this
wait,
show
I
for
know.
a
Is
little
there
bit till I
any-
buy my
oh.
place and then
then-
air this because this is going to make the property go up.
Well,
it is.
they've got residential units that are for sale directly above where these restaurants are going. So as a part of this mixed-use
Oh.
Novus project.
Can I see it
was-
tomorrow?
Yeah, they built
Tomorrow.
units. Yeah.
So here's what I'm curious about. You know, the iconic restaurant in Phoenix, the kind of gourmet place with the wonderful outdoor patios, the closed last
In
year.
Tempe?
Yeah.
Oh,
You
you're
said
talking
Phoenix,
about,
Tempe.
The House of Tricks.
House
I
of
love
Tricks.
House of
Is
Tricks.
something else moved in there yet? Is there plans
Yeah,
for that?
one of the developers who owns other property down there is planning to do a new development. They'll
Why
be
did you let
housing-
that close, Mike?
I think
they-
she just retired.
Yeah,
they
she and
just
her
retired.
husband.
But why don't you find somebody else to take that spot?
Because they own the
Yeah,
property.
Mike.
and
What
they-
the heck?
From what I understand, so Rob and Trick, they were fantastic
Yeah.
Love the
restaurant
restaurant.
operators.
For
Yeah.
years and years I
It
went
was
there.
really hard for them to sell. They have a place up in the cooler country up in
Mhm.
Prescott area, and they're enjoying retirement.
Yeah,
They're
good.
fishing, they're doing fun stuff,
Yeah.
and they can afford to because I think they did okay on the sale.
They did.
Well,
I mean,
it's
it's
such a
'cause it's
great
beautiful
location.
restaurant.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
developer bought a bunch of properties around House of Tricks. One of those
Oh.
buildings that used to be the restaurant, the House of Tricks
Yeah.
restaurant, is called the Walker House. It's a historic house, and the
Oh.
developer is in agreement with the city. They are allowing us to relocate that house. They're going to pay to
Whoa.
What? Really?
jack the house up,
Really?
and it's in full. And we're going to move it to another site where it can be repurposed either as housing or to do educational classes.
That's huge. That's so
out of it.
sustainable. I
Yeah,
love
so
that.
it's a fully
gonna be
a historic
reused.
house. It's going to be put back to its original
Hmm.
condition and
Very
use.
cool.
And be a
um,
historical place.
And there's also a church, the First Congregational Church, that's near historic. It doesn't have historic status, but it's in our hearts. It's historic, and the developer's working with the city to eventually turn that back over to the city, where we'll be able to bring a restaurateur in, and we've shown it to several already who would love to open a restaurant in this beautiful old church. Really, really sexy building.
So is there a
Beautiful.
projected
That white church,
timeline
right?
with the renovation of the mill then, or not?
So the mill right now is it's doing architectural studies to make sure that there's no, because it's sacred Indian ground at the foot of the butte there.
Sure.
So they're well into a 1-year process of doing underground testing and borings, archaeological testing, and then when they
Good.
break ground,
Great.
anytime they disturb the dirt, they'll
Yeah.
be looking for
Yeah.
artifacts and
Wonderful.
things.
I think
I'm
you
Doing
need
it the right way.
I think
That's
you
good.
need to talk with the owners of Sel. There's a restaurant called SEL Sel. You know that restaurant too.
In Old
And
Town.
yes, they're on Main Street. They're
Okay.
across from Gallery Andrea, our family art gallery.
Okay.
And I just ran into the owner chef and his wife, and their restaurant's booming, and it's so unique. It's so charming. They should have a second location in
I'll-
Tempe.
I'll check them out, and then I will come to you for an intro.
Perfect. Yes, I love them.
Well,
Sel, S-E-L. It's a
I
husband
just
and
want
wife
to
team.
say,
She's
I've
gorgeous.
lived-
He's gorgeous.
I've
No,
lived in
it's the best.
this area. I moved here in '94, and I actually lived in Phoenix, in Tempe for a short time, the first place I lived. And just to see what's happened to Tempe in 30 years
Right? It's
is
so
pretty
different.
mind-blowing.
Mhm.
I
I grew
mean,
up
The
here.
way the
it is.
downtown has
Yeah.
grown is amazing.
Yeah.
It is, but we
wild.
do need more
And-
food.
you know, you've got large
You and the mayor.
industry, you
Keep
got
reminding me.
everything from large industry to big businesses.
Yeah.
So and ASU has just grown tremendously to be
ASU
a
is like
real.
taking over the world.
And
It's
Yeah,
ASU,
it's
hold on,
and-
I'm going to give ASU a plug. ASU is the
Yeah.
number one most sustainable school
Yep.
in America.
Yeah.
So,
So
give a cheers to
Multiple
that.
years running.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
number one.
that-
is-
And talking about
ASU's number one in
sustainable
sustainable.
buildings, the
Yeah.
Global Futures building is like a work of art.
Yeah.
It's amazing how sustainable that building is. If you get a chance to look it up, look up the Global Futures building at ASU and just
Yeah.
learn a little bit about what went into making that. So
I love.
sustainable.
I will look that up. And I'm very
And
interested in that.
you should probably bring one of them, somebody from that school in here.
Help me, and you'll be on with them.
Yeah.
You guys will be my co-hosts. Here we go. The
Yeah, the
team.
most sustainable and the most innovative
So-
university.
We've got
So
5
one-
minutes left.
One
so
more
what's
question.
on your bucket?
Wait, I have a question.
Okay,
What
here we
are
go.
you excited about coming up in Tempe that we haven't talked about yet?
Other than food.
Wow. Well, I am. So I live in Tempe also. So I don't.
Well, I
I've
would
been there
hope so.
since '83. But you'd be surprised
Yeah.
at how
Yeah, yeah.
many certain departments
Yeah.
They work
have
there,
to-
but they don't live there. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And city council members have to live there. But
Well, I'll buy
a
a
lot of
place
people-
before I
yeah.
work for you,
Yeah. There we
and
go.
then I'll be your little assistant.
The I'm excited about a lot of things. There's some. I'm excited when we bring a new corporate entity into
Yeah.
town that's going
Yeah.
to bring high-paying jobs.
Right.
That's anytime we just announced it came out a little over a week ago that at the end of June, Dutch Bros, who's out of Oregon, have announced that they're relocating their corporate.
Wow.
That's exciting.
to
That's
Tempe.
very exciting.
Yeah.
To
Oh
Tempe.
my gosh,
Wow.
you have to introduce me. I was on a podcast this morning where somebody told me that they have unique uniforms, which I didn't know, and apparently they might be
Oh.
ethically sourced or something.
And you can make the
they
new ones?
need to partner with Fabric.
That's a
love
great
that.
idea.
Great idea.
They're
He's
from-
your biggest fan, so
They're
don't worry
from
about that.
Grants Pass, Oregon, is where they
Yeah.
That's
were
it.
founded, and so coming from that part of the world, it's entirely possible that they're
Yeah.
very sustainable,
Huh.
focused.
Okay.
So I'm excited about bringing
Bucket
new
list.
jobs, and restaurants. That's really our focus,
Restaurants, number one.
and affordable housing.
Yes.
Okay, equal.
Yes.
One,
Because
they're both.
those
Tied,
people that
yes.
work in the restaurants need places to live too.
Yes.
Darn right.
The
I agree.
service industry, they
Yeah.
need
I
places to live.
We don't want them having to drive in from From
And what's your
Queen
bucket
Creek
list
or
Right.
for
Mesa.
Tempe? Like, what's your vision? You get like a minute or two to tell us.
My vision for Tempe.
It's going to be the new fashion capital.
Yes, yes,
That-
Okay.
yes. A
That
fabric.
sounds
I
like-
love it.
Well-
and I'll be your assistant too.
One of the things that we didn't talk about at all, but
Next show.
but we have a thriving arts community. We're a creative community.
Yes.
A little bit of it is
Yes.
the ASU influence, but we used to be the music capital of
Right.
of Maricopa County. Tempe was
Yeah.
where all the
Gin
bands were,
Blossoms,
and
etc.
all
Scotty
all the live
Johnson's
music.
been on our
Yeah.
show
Yeah.
before from Gin Blossom. So how do we make it more into the music?
Well,
Let's make it the music mecca.
yeah, that's a part of our vision to round out the retail. that
Because
we're
I'm
doing.
friends with Alice Cooper. I can help you with that vision.
There we go.
Let's
that
do
you
that.
know. That and the performing arts also.
Oh, the Tempe Center for
Oh, we love
Performing
that.
Arts
It's a
is
beautiful building, and
jewel.
we brought in this year,
Oh.
and they're they've got a multi-year run at least with us, but Arizona Theater Company, and I'm a season ticket holder. I
Great.
jumped
I
on when
love
they
that
first
place.
came. Oh my god, so much fun! I love Gamage, season ticket holder there too for
Sure.
the Broadway series. But Arizona
Just so you know, the
Theater
first
Company-
time I met Richard,
Oh.
he offered me opera tickets for me and the guy I was dating
Uh-huh.
because he had 2 extra tickets. So, what about some opera, some symphony? But let's get some rock and roll in.
Yeah.
Tempe, more rock and roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the Tempe Center for the Arts right there on
Yeah.
Well, we've only got about a minute left, but it was a really fun conversation. Excited to go to all these
Wow.
new restaurants and new businesses in Tempe.
I know,
the,
it's
all of it,
Tempe's
yeah,
flourishing.
Congratulations. Really.
So how do people, if they want to write to you about suggestions, how do they get a hold of you?
Well, just go directly to the City of Tempe, tempe.gov, and there'll be a link to the economic development page, and there's a one-click link to me and the team. Ask us any questions, bounce any ideas you've got off us. If you're
Love it.
looking for space, we'll put you together with the right people to help you find it. But come to Tempe, or just come when our restaurant's open and enjoy the hospitality.
I love it. Thank you so much for what you do, and thank you for being here. And how do people get a hold of you?
fabricincubator.com. There's a contact page, and it goes directly to me.
I love it. And
Right.
Richard,
What?
people find you at Richard the Wino?
Richard the Wine.
And then Deep Chetty Music, listen to that. Saving the Planet.
One show
One
at a
show at a
time.